Hello Limor, Shane back again for another episode of Mono e Mono, episode 9. Thanks to Connor for reminding me I almost got it wrong again, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Kavan Byrne here in Drogheda, County Louth, Ireland, for our foreign listeners. Kavan, great to have you here. I don't generally do an intro of the guests, I let them do it themselves. I guess things spark, so if you want to give I'm privileged to have you here on the show. So do you want to give a little quick introduction, who you are, what you're all about?
My name's Kavan. I'm from Dublin originally, live in Drogheda at the moment. I'm a competitive bodybuilder, a father, personal trainer, online coach. Pretty much was it.
Yeah.
Professional pizza eater at times.
Brilliant.
Soon, not just now, but very, very soon, because we're prepping for a show. So.
And on that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the show today. Like I mentioned, we're putting out the Mono e Monos hard and fast. I did another one yesterday, but with Keith Hughes, and just mentioned to him, I like to get people that I can relate to, that I'm interested in talking to, one from the sports aspect, because that's my original background, really interests me, but what that can do in relation to business as well, and inspire people in different, whether it's their life, their business, you name it. And like obviously I've seen you around the town, you're a hard man to miss, the size big dude, but you actually were on Limor as well last week, the week before. You're on a trip to China, and I said, right, here's a guy, he's a bodybuilder, which I've been interested in, want to talk to him about, and he was in China. I need to know what he was doing over there. Mao Zedong is still alive, everybody. And and you were using Limor and social audio. I was really interested in listening to your content there. People can go back and follow Cav's profile on Limor and listen to that content he put out there. So where to start? I think I might go straight into the thing I want to talk to you about is the bodybuilding, because I love weight training myself, and pumping iron is definitely going to come up throughout this conversation. Sure. Inspirational, and Arnie and the 6 rules to success and all that carry on. So, how did you get into bodybuilding?
Well, I kind of, the funny kind of part of my involvement in fitness is that I kind of never really felt like it was chosen as such. I was kind of born into it to a degree, but it kind of never felt wrong at the same time. Because obviously it wouldn't, because if you're born into it, like, it's obviously going to work out well, but it never felt forced, or it just kind of always felt like the thing that was right to do, or that I should be doing.
Explain that, born into it.
So both of my parents were national champions in bodybuilding, so they were both competitive bodybuilders. But my dad and my mum, actually on Instagram there was only something posted the other day of my mum coming back from the Worlds with the Irish team and competing across in Austria, I think.
Wow.
Speaking of Ireland. But yeah, so they were competitive. Then obviously I came along and I put the brakes on that situation. But they had already started opening up gyms and running gyms and owning gyms together, and so I spent an awful lot. My first steps were taken in a gym, and that's kind of because they were business owners themselves, so that's what they put an awful lot of time into business. So I would have kind of been raised more by aunties and nanas and stuff as we became, but I would always be in the gym as well, always with them, and it kind of happened from there. Stemmed from there till I was about 15, 14, and I remember coming home from my junior cert and just kind of, I don't know what it was, that just kind of was like, I got a bit of an interest for it, and I already kind of done a few bits. My dad had kind of done out circuits for me and stuff, and it wasn't really anything, but then I just something about bodybuilding, because he'd been prepping bodybuilders as well, so I got to see these guys come in and diet and look like freaks, and then go to the shows and then be like, what's going on? But it just, something just enticed me about it, and then I asked my dad to start me off, and that went from there at 14. And by the age of 19 I did my first show. I came third under 21 at a national level, and then the next year I did the same. Took 4 years off because I had my little girl, and then I came back in this year I did 2015, had my little girl, and then we're back in it now again.
You're back in it now, but it's very interesting to hear that you were raised around weights and bodybuilding, and it's a lot more mainstream now than it was even 10 years ago.
Even 5, you've no idea. Like I remember going to secondary school and being slagged for having it used to be considered drugs to have a shaker cup.
Yeah.
That was like the worst thing you could have been doing with your life, like especially as a young fella. Like they were like, what? You just slag left and right for. Whereas now, you'd be slag for not having it. Like, you know what I mean? It's funny how things work.
It's crazy how things work. Yeah, and like my similar again. Like I was always in rugby was my thing in the past, and training and sports and all that, and it was really around the age of 17 maybe before I even looked at a weight.
Yeah.
When I was up in but how things have changed now, even in Leinster.
Yeah.
Like I had a podcast with Dave Fagan, my old coach last day, and he was kind of telling us that in the thing he said we were really the experimental group.
Oh, really?
To see how young lads will adapt to weights and what to do and what not to do.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
No, that's circa 2006, 5-6.
It's crazy.
And so we were exposed to the weight. I remember coming in like the coach he was a senior. Brad was his name. I can't think of his surname. He's an Aussie guy, and he brought us into the old gym in Belvedere Rugby Club, and it was like old school, banging and clanging weights. You know. The actual building was probably from the 1920s, you know. But he said, right, lift that, and he says, like, it was literally 5 kg dumbbells, shoulder press, and we could maybe get 2 or 3 reps out, you know, and they were 17-year-old males, you know, and the Leinster ladies were lifting more than us, so he says, the fucking Leinster ladies lift more than you can. So that was my first experience of the weights, but like you're saying, I remember like a year or 2 years and got more knowledgeable on it and that, and then you'd hear, I remember it was maybe around 2007, I heard an ad for protein on the radio. I was like, oh my god, it's starting to go mainstream now. It's happening, as you said. So on that, in the sports, before you got into the body, did you play other sports outside of it?
Never. I did, but like my first rugby match, people listen to this now, they'll back me up, will laugh. My first ever rugby match, I played the full first 10 minutes completely offside. I had no idea. I still to this day don't know what I was doing wrong, because I always think I'm not a sport dude at all, and that's where all of this kind of comes from as well. But like I was like of the belief that there's like a diagonal that I follow, and I thought I was, but then the ref had just stopped and be like, dude, like you're offside this whole time, like what are you doing? And I was like, I have no fucking clue, to be honest with you. I have no idea. So I had a go of a bit of rugby. I was into swimming, kickboxing, and combat sports became a bit of a thing for a little while, a bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff, but I was never really into football or any of that. I just wasn't a sporty kid, which was rare where I came from as well, because I went to Termfeck National School, and then it's obviously like, because it's more rural, it's more kind of kind of football-y kind of lads, like, so I was always kind of the one left out to a degree, and then ironically it's flipped. So it worked out well, but it was never any other sports. It was always training. Even when I got into the combat sports, I always came back to bodybuilding.
And do you think that's to do with your are you more of a lone wolf than a team player, or?
Yeah, like in certain aspects of it depends. Like when it comes down to training, I like the concept of being completely responsible. So like even when I went to China and prepped and had my dad coach me, it was a different experience from the sense of I was letting someone else kind of take the rein and kind of making it, because as individual as bodybuilding is, it's very much a support based kind of sport or kind of environment that you have to create. Like your people around you, they play a massive role, even though it's minuscule on paper. You know, kind of way the support is massive is very important from those around you. Like so kind of having that was a different experience of the sport, but it is like in terms of the actual doing of the work, it always comes down to you, which I kind of like as well. So there's no like I don't have to worry about the boys being on time for whenever or a particular time to train. I can just go and do my stuff whenever, and I'm responsible for it. All falls back on me. So if like my last show didn't go as well, you know, there's a list of variables that came down to that I could have controlled, and things I couldn't have controlled. But you have comfort in that, knowing that it still all comes down to you at the end of the day. Which I kind of, that's the nomad end of it that I would rather more is more geared towards the actual work that's in it, like, you know, than anything